Okay, we're going to talk today about annotations in Rust for lifetime. That's the remaining topic with the Rust memory. Now, you look at this program here. This looks like it should work. A has scope over the entire thing. B is in scope when you do everything. But when you compile it, as you can see, it's going to complain. It's saying it's missing a lifetime specifier. Basically, it can't keep track of whose lifetime is whose in this method. And so you're passing A and B, it doesn't know if one of them is going to go out of scope, so you have to keep track of it. So what you do here is, first of all, you have to tell it what the lifetime scope parameters are going to be, and they always have a little single quote. So this would be now the beauty is by just using one is it's not going to care if it's X or Y here. So let me move my mouse here. This should be an A, and we're going to put the A in and return. Oh. Let me just. So, you have A, whoop, let's fix that. That's not good. I'm hitting cap lock rather than the caps here. There we go. So you can see we're saying that this is the lifetime parameter where, let me make sure there's no space here. Yeah, there isn't. So we're saying keep track of it in A, keep track of this, and then this is the output is going to be kept track of in A. Theoretically, you could have done A, B, and actually Z there's no lifetime, so although theoretically there could be, we'll look at that in a second. Now when you run it, I'd like to see what's into it like. Oh, I'm putting these brackets around it that I don't need. This should just be this. The brackets are just for the beginning. So let's fix that. And there we go. Now it should be happy. And this is the only thing. Yeah. All right. Because I changed it. Let me explain something about this. If it is a local variable, if you do not use the variable, like if I'm going to do this here, this is going to say so it gives you a warning. But since and so I had put that in to get rid of the warning, and then I didn't take it out. And here is, this should be exactly what we expect. Now, if we do this, now it gives you some nice information. It says this B, now it knows because it's keeping track of it, with the annotation here, B is dropped while still borrowed. Borrowed does not live long enough, so you know exactly what's wrong. So this is why this is so nice in Rust. Now, one experiment I'd like to do while we're still here, and let's fix this, but let's try something else. Right now, Z is, let's see how we're going to do this. What I want to do is have Z be out of scope. And A, so let's do this. I'm going to move this, make this where it prints it. I'm going to move B here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to move it up here. And how did my sound get turned on again? Sorry about that. I turned the sound off. I muted it and it decided to unmute. All right. So anyway, note here that we have, okay, so this should work because everything is in scope. But let's try this. Let's say let Z equal to 0 and put Z here. And let's see what happens, because I think we're going to get an error. Well, isn't that interesting? Even though Z went out of scope here, it still, because theoretically, well, let's try this. I'm going to change this to Z, to this one, and see what happens. Yeah, so this is saying it's out of scope. Now, let's do this. See what happens if we do this. Z. Now let's try it. Oh. Well, I guess this is mainly used. It looks like this is mainly, this is interesting. I'm going to have to look this up because I would have thought that, oh, because it's not a reference. That's the problem, of course. So we don't need, it doesn't do us any good here because this is not a reference. The point of this is to keep track of the references. And that is why you, that is why you do not need the annotation here. So, in summary, these annotations keep track of references because without them, it doesn't know who's pointing to who. Is there a drop pointer because you're doing a pointer? If it is a you know, a variable, it will just tell you, it'll give you this error here, which is not quite there, and it'll point to the right, cannot find value z in the scope, and then it'll complain in the in here. But I'm wondering, so can you do a reference here? My guess is you can, and if ever you make it a reference, and then this would still be, I think this would work. This, let's see what happens with this. You can't, there is no implementation. Let's see what if we get rid of that. There's no implementation to point it to an I-32. So anyway, so it really does not apply here with our Z, because there is no pointer situation to there's no implementation. Okay. So this is not right. But I'd have to look at that some more. But so what can we say? First of all, we learned that if you are passing pointers to a method, you want to annotate, and you want the output to match one of those. If you're using more than one letter, more than one annotation letter. So in this case, we're only using one, but it has the output has to be one of those letters. But you can see how it's very easy to just use the A, and it'll do what you need it to do. If you do not have these, it does not know if it can drop. If it's dropping right, it doesn't know what's what. Is it a valid reference? Isn't it a valid reference? And so it's going to complain that you need to put the annotations in there. And let's get rid of this. Actually, let's move this up here to get rid of the put this here, and at res. Look. There we go. And you can also see here that because A and B are outside, then it can do its thing. Now I'm surprised that it's not failing here, because res is in this scope. Oh no, it's not defined in this scope. To see this, we have to go here, and we have to put it here. And then you're going to see another, it's not found in this scope. And so anyway, You can see how this annotation, though, does help in terms of giving you scoping information. And notice it's saying not found in the scope. It's not saying, this is another local, I have no idea. So this has the information it needs. So that is the annotation in Rust to keep track of pointers and, references. We can call them pointers. So that so that the compiler and you have the right information if something goes wrong with scoping. So thank you for watching, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.